Hi there, it's Kelly from Silly Moon Quilting Co. So today we're talking about heart rulers. We have two. 5-3 is what you see in front of you, and 6-4, which is basically the same, just a little bit different sizes. So the numbers that are on there, so the 5 and the 3, means that the hearts on this ruler will be, you can use them in a 5-inch block and a 3-inch block. So I'm going to show you how to do this. You'll know that with all of our rulers, you get a piece of sticky tape that looks similar to this. It's important to note that when you're using Cupid, because it's a double-sided ruler, so we're using it left and right to complete the shape, we need to make sure that we put the sticky tape on both sides. So you can see here I've got it on the one side of the ruler. So I'm just going to add a little tiny piece of sticky tape on the other side of the ruler so that when I flip it over, it makes it nice and easy to handle the size. So today I'm using just some black nitrile gloves that I have. They're not great for quilting, but they do the trick and they help better with the lighting. So that's why we're using them today. So you can see here I've got a grid marked out on my quilt. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the 3-inch heart, and I'm going to do it upside down so that you can see it a little bit clearer. So I'm going to drop my ruler foot in the center of this crosshatch area, which is where I want my heart to be. I want my heart to come out this side. So I'm going to drop my ruler there. Now I'm using my needle is going to go down in the center there. I'm using the center of these 3 lines on here. That is going to keep me nice and lined up and square. It's really important with this ruler to make sure you have a good grip on it, because that will be what makes sure that you end up back in the center. So I've got my needle there. I'm going to do a couple stitches just to lock. If you're doing this on an actual quilt, you want to pull up that bobbin thread. If you're not sure how to do that, you can give me a message and we'll talk about it. So I want to make sure that I'm holding my ruler nice and secure. If I move it over a little bit, that's going to mean this end point isn't going to be lined up. So I want to make sure that that line is lined up exactly on that seam. And I've got it just marked here in white chalk, so it's nice and easy to see. So I've done my locking stitches, and I'm just following the inside of that heart. And this gives me half of my heart. So I'll turn that a little bit so you can see there it's given me half the heart. Then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm just going to flip it about that point. So I'm flipping it right over like this. So now everything is upside down on the ruler. And I'm going to hook it back around that point. And I want to make sure that that line is again still on this line. And then I'm going to turn this just so you can see. And I want to make sure that this little line here is on this line in the back. So let's just turn that so you can see. We'll turn that whole thing, makes it a little easier. So I want to make sure I'm hooked up there, and I want to make sure this side is hooked up here. And then I'm simply going to hold on to everything nice and tight, and I'm going to come back around. And I'm going to stop. And that is how we create our first heart. So that's our heart that will fit in a 3-inch block. So to create the 5-inch heart, just turn this away, and we're going to nest them one within the other. So to create the 5-inch heart, we're using the outside of this one now. So I think actually I'll do it separately so you can see it separately. So I'm going to use the center line that is on this ruler. So again, we've got the 3 lines. So I'm using that center line to line up with the line that I've marked on my quilt. Okay. And I'm going to simply hold on to the ruler. And I'm going to come up. And when you reach the point where you don't want to run over your fingers, all you need to do is stop and adjust your hand a little bit. And I usually reach behind. You want to make sure that you stay nice and secure. And I'll move my hand again when I've got more room, holding onto the back of the ruler. And I'm going to stop when I reach that point. So I'm going to turn this so you can see what I'm doing. So I've created another half of a heart. So then I'm going to flip my ruler back this way, and it doesn't matter which side you do first because it's symmetrical, so they'll end up being the same. But once you flip it, you'll see that we're still lining up that center line, but now we want to line up this little tiny line on the little indent part of the foot where your ruler foot's going to come around and nest. We want to line up this part on the seam going down this way. And you're going to stop when you need to and shift. And you're trying to hold your fabric nice and taut. And that will bring us right back to the center. So now we have a 5-inch, or a heart that will work in a 5-inch, as well as a heart that will work in a 3-inch. So say now we want to do a 3-inch inside this 5-inch. Because of the way we've designed it, your hook is the same. So you're going to hook up exactly the way you did this one. As long as you are straight and square, and you've actually stopped in the center, I'm going to take another half a stitch there. I've stopped in the center. I will come back up again here, and I will end up with nesting hearts. So that will come back to the center, and then I will flip that and go back the other side. And typically when I'm working on a quilt, I will try to work like this, exactly like I'm showing you now. And what that does is it means that I don't have to turn my quilt quite so much. And that brings me back to my center. So you can see there, I've got nicely nested hearts, nicely nested hearts, one within the other. And our other heart ruler, 6-4, will do the same thing. So it will create a heart that comes in here at a little bit between these two, and then one that's bigger than these ones here. So that's the basics of the heart ruler and how to end up with beautiful hearts. Now, a really cool way to do hearts on your quilt is to do a heart and then do a simple meander. So we're going to show you that now. So we've done a heart here, and we're going to then do a simple meander. Just by free motion, and because we're doing ruler work, we don't have to switch our foot. And then I'm going to do another heart going a different direction. So this is a perfect design if you're going to be doing a baby quilt or a wedding quilt or even just some placemats, something that you want to show a little bit of love, but it easily creates perfect hearts all over that project that you're working on. And you just want to make sure you hold your ruler nice and tight, and then you'll come back and stop when you run into your line there. So I'll just break my thread there and show you. So it's an easy way, and you could carry that on. You could do some heart balloons, do a whole bunch of hearts, and then down all to one point. That would be really cute to create some heart balloons. So that's just the basics of how to use Cupid 5.3.